prophet, y'all. That's just me.
Believe.
And it made me think about
Restoration.
what happens at the altar. You know, a lot of folks, of course, at most altar calls at many churches, they like to bring up Romans 10, 9, and 10. And they like to have people, there'll be a minister there or someone that says, hey, repeat this after me. They'll say, repeat this after me. This morning, Terry, I know it's going to sound cliche, but I woke up with my mind on Jesus this morning. Who he is to me, Rhonda Brown. Bernard, I said, Jesus, there's nobody, y'all gonna have to keep me together. There's nobody like Jesus.
Nobody.
Like Jesus. Uncle Biggie, when you think about him, if you really know him, it's something about just thinking about him.
Amen.
I've come to find out, Mason, that to know him is to love him.
That's it.
But can I just be honest this morning? I'm praying that I help somebody this morning. It took something for me to get here, truth be told. Can I say it like that? It took something for me to get here. The very first work, I teach this to young people, the very first work of a believer is not church work. It wasn't handing out tracts. The very first work of a believer, I'm talking the very first hard work, is believing. Let's just be honest. It's believing. I teach that. Our very first work is believing. How do you believe in a God you can't see? How do you believe that he's going, he's not tangible? How do you believe that someone would sacrifice their best for folks who's going to disrespect them anyhow? How do you believe that there's victory over death in the grave? Yeah, that's work, Dad. That's why for so long Jesus is Mama's Jesus and Daddy's Jesus and Grandma's Jesus, because it took some work to believe. I don't know if somebody want to admit that this morning. Yeah, what many are told the contents of Romans chapter 10 and 9 and 10. And if you stand at the altar with me and you repeat these words, as soon as it's over, the first thing they want to tell you is you are now saved. You are now saved. But many folks that repeat those words, y'all, honestly, they were just caught up in a moment of emotionalism. And sometimes, Dad, they were just caught up in a moment of guilt. This is going to rub somebody wrong this morning. I told my wife this yesterday. I said, I'm going to say some things that's going to rub some believers wrong this morning, because they're going to struggle with these words. But many people that repeated those words, that what they were told to say, even though they were crying, they were just caught up in a moment of emotionalism, and sometimes it was just guilt, Dad. Do you know why? Because we don't stress one important thing there, Mason. We don't, when we're telling people these words, we don't stress the importance of them believing.